was recently invited to participate in a menage a trois. This isn't the first time that that's happened. Happened a couple of times when I was in my early 20s, when I was young and spry and sure of myself, not old and lethargic and sometimes quite addled as I am in my mid-40s. I was visiting Chicago to visit family for 4th of July, but before I hung out with family, I was gonna hang out with a good friend of mine named Lilith. I met her, that's her name she chose. I met her when I was homeless and struggling and trying to go back to college. I was in my early 30s at that time and she was 19. But you know what? She always made sure she had something for me to eat when we happened to see each other on campus. And for that small mercy, she will always have a place in my heart. And also, she's fucking hot, right? And like, I really wanted to have relations with her, but I thought being not homeless was probably the more important thing to focus on. Even though my mother once told me, hey, homeless sex is still sex, baby. I had to make a decision, and so into the friend zone I went. And fast forward a decade or so, fast forward to this particular weekend, we're hanging out. We go to dinner, we go to the movies, good old-fashioned fun, right? And then later that night, we have a conversation. She says, oh, my friend Seth wanted to come over and have a booty call. And I told him that I had out-of-town company, but I do kind of want to fool around, but you know what? Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. I was like, hey, look, this is your home, okay? If you want some hot action tonight, you call your buddy over and you two do what you do. I'm exhausted. I'll probably sleep right through the whole thing. So I went to sleep, and I started to dream of fried shrimp, as one often does. And in this dream, I take a delicious crispy bite, and I say, oh yeah. And I take another bite, and then it's, shit, yeah, just like that. Wait, what? I didn't say that. And the shrimp didn't say that. So I woke up, and I'm looking straight ahead, but to the right of me, I could sense sex like happening, right? Like I could hear it, vibrations. Like the couch I was sitting on was like 6 inches away from the bed that they were on, and I tried to will myself to go back to sleep. Didn't happen. And then I happened to look over to the right, and they saw me, and they beckoned me to come over. They were like, hey, get in here, come on. And my brain said, yes, awesome. And my penis said, nay. And my brain said, hey, penis, don't you fuck this up. We've been waiting for this for years. This is not a drill. And my penis, again, simply said, nay. So they finished up and he left. And in the awkward silence that was left behind, my heart had a conversation with me. My heart said, hey, buddy, you know, the high blood pressure and the diabetes aside, I think the bigger issue is that you're bisexual and you need to come to grips with that. And then my penis joined the conversation and said, yeah, and then there's all that transgender porn we watch, because we love that. And then my brain joined in and said, hey, wait, what? We don't want to be gay or half gay or curious or none of that. And you leave the porn out of this. And I said, I need some air. So I fled into the night. On the south side of Chicago, at 2 a.m, in the rain. I thought it was poetic. Until it wasn't. It started raining really hard, so I jumped on the first bus that came by, and when the rain stopped, I got off the bus. And I had no idea where I was at. Oh, no. So I heard some music coming from a bar over yonder, so I wandered in that direction. I had never heard of this bar, so I Googled it. Jeffrey Pub. And Google told me Jeffrey Pub is the only gay bar on the south side of Chicago. Because of course I would find myself in front of the only gay bar on the south side of Chicago while I'm having an existential crisis about being gay. So, I have a seat down on the bus stop bench in front of the bar, and across the street from the bus stop bench, I see a very tall, dark-skinned, somewhat handsome gentleman waving at me. And I thought, maybe he's an Uber driver looking for his fare. So I don't wave back. And he waves again. And so I wave back, and he comes across the street, and he says, hey man, how's it going tonight? I said, not great. And he says, oh, what's wrong, you want to talk about it? I said, no, not really. He says, okay, you know what, hey, look, whatever it is, I hope it gets better. You stay safe out here, You be blessed. And he started to walk across the street. And my brain said, hey, you know what? That's exactly what we need to do. We need to talk about it. You get him back over here. So I called him back over. I said, hey, you, get in here. Come on. And so we were talking, and I said, these are the things that happened tonight. I told him about the events. I told him about these inner conversations. I told him about the turmoil that ensued. And he listened intently and patiently and finally said, brother, the only thing I can tell you is that it's time for you to be free. And with that being said, the reason I was waving at you is that I thought you were sexy. I like big men that look like you. And I said, oh, well, thank you. And he said, you ever had your ass licked by a man before? I said, I mean, sure, who hasn't? You know, I'm gonna get on this bus that happens to be coming down the street right now. Thanks so much for the conversation. And I got on the bus, and I could feel his lustful gaze on my sweet cheeks. And I got back to Lilith's apartment, and I went to sleep. And so it happens, the next day was the Gay Pride Parade. And as I slept, my brain and heart and penis had a meeting and decided we should go to the parade. And so I go to the parade, and I felt like there were millions of people, all loving and accepting. One, in fact, was a big, grizzled, burly Chicago police officer in full tactical gear with a rainbow cape flowing in the wind. And he looks at me and he says, I'm a super gay cop. And I gave him a thumbs up. And then I heard another voice in my head. It said, these are your people. Welcome home. And I'm assuming that voice was my soul. And so here I am, Gregory Pickett, half gay, free to be me.
Keep it going.